G'day, my name's JP and I'm an idiot because I drive one of these. Bloody Land Rover with the 300 TDI. This is a Series 1 Disco 1997 and I'm about to fit a water level sensor. So this is the kit that I've got. That's the cap with the float built in. Here's the alarm that beeps if the float drops too far, a test button, a flashing LED, and the wires that go to this, and power wires. Seems pretty simple, shouldn't take that long to install, so let's have a go. I was going to say the first thing I need to do is get the bonnet open, but that's not entirely true. I think the first thing I need to do is crack a beer. Oh yes. Okay, so we're inside the engine bay. What we need to do is get these wires from inside the cab of the car neatly up here and connect to this cap, which will be in there. Now when the cap twists, the terminal stays still, so you can neaten up the wiring and not have to worry about the whole connection having to twist off if you need to remove this. But where I want the wires to come through, if you can see, down this side of the car, this is the driver's side, there's a little grommet. Where that pink wire is poking out is where I need these white wires to come through. So let's have a look and see what that looks like from the inside. Okay, so this is the driver's footwell, and you can see there's that pink wire going up through that grommet. So if I can push those other wires out through there, they should come out in a convenient space in the engine bay. So let's give that a go. Okay, let's give this a go. Sorry if this looks weird, I'm trying to get the camera in here and my big ass. Now what I've done is poked a split in this grommet and the pink wire goes through the split. So I'm hoping that these fit through the same split. With a bit of messing about, I'm sure I can get it. I have confidence. Okay, poke them through there, let's see what it looks like on the other side. Well, there they are, poking through the grommet inside the engine bay. So the idea will be to shove my hand down there and pull them through gently, trying not to pull the plugs off the end of the wires. So now I've got the wires in the engine bay. I'll just pull on them a bit, make sure I give myself plenty of slack in here to route them around things and make them look neat. Probably cover them in some black tape and, you know, make it look as standard as possible. So now let's go play around with the inside. So here we are inside. That's my buzzer, as I showed you before, LED and test button. And what the test button does is breaks the connection going to the float, and if the alarm comes on, the system's working, because that's how the float works. When the float is in the up position, there is a connection. When the connection is lost, the alarm goes off. But what I want to do is have the test button accessible and the LED visible. So my plan is to screw a couple of holes in one of these, have the wires come in from the back, test button here, LED here, so I can see it through the steering wheel while I'm driving. And then for power, I'll probably get it from the back of the clock. So we'll see how that goes. So what we've got here is the wire coming through the engine bay, goes up over my steering, mind the mess, up here underneath my steering column. This part just lifts up Well, mine does, because all the screws are broken. I'm sure yours is the same. And I've got the button and LED coming out here, ready for me to drill holes in the back of this. So here we are back inside the car. Here's my wires coming up through here, so I can screw holes in the back of the blanking plate and put them back in, make them look all neat. And for power for the whole unit, I want to get power from the back of the clock, since the clock has ignition, so the backlight of the clock comes on when the car starts. So the best way I've found to get the clock out is to get a card and just slide it in and give the clock a bit of a wiggle. And there we go. Clock is out. So now I just need to put a multimeter on the back of this plug here and figure out which wire does what. So here we go with the plug off of the clock. We've got 4 wires there. One of them will be earth, one will be permanent power, one will be ignition, and one will be lights. So how I'm going to figure that out, I've got my multimeter on 20 volts. I'm going to assume the black one is earth and just stick that there. And one of these should be on now, because the clock receives constant power. Okay, purple is constant power. So one of them will be headlights. Let's turn them on and see what we get. Hold that there, stick that in there. Nope. That one's headlights, red is headlights. So I'm assuming green is ignition. So let's turn the headlights off, put the ignition on and see if the voltage comes up. It did. So I know now black is my earth and green is positive power, which I'll use to power this water level sensor. Okay, so we're about to do the wiring. We're inside the car. That's the back of my clock. Remember, the black wire is negative and the green wire is ignition. These are the 2 power wires that come from the water level sensor, and I need to join them together. So what we've got here is a pair of side cutters, sharp knife, roll of solder, electrical tape, and the trusty old soldering iron. So let's see what damage we can do, see if we can get it all together. So we've exposed the negative wire. The positive wire's already got solder on it. What we need to do is tin the end of the negative wire. If we don't tin the end of it, we'll have a hell of a time getting it to stick to anything. So tinning is the art of putting solder on a wire in preparation. Let me just get so you can see what I'm doing. Putting solder on the wire in preparation. There we go. So now, as you can see, the end of this wire has got a big blob of solder on it, and that one's got solder on it. So the next thing I need to do is get my black wire about here. This is the wire coming from the clock, and just split the cable, split the black plastic around the wire. You don't want to cut through it, the whole wire, you just want to split the plastic. And what I'm hoping is I can spread the 2 halves apart. That's my plan anyway. There we go. Don't know if you can see that, I've just exposed some wire. So now my plan will be to add some solder to this section here and connect that black wire to it. And then wrap it with tape so it doesn't touch anything. So let's do that. Oh yep, that's good. So now let's try and join the two wires together, if I can, without getting in the way of the camera, which I'm sure will be easier said than done. And without burning myself, of course. Okay, good enough, they're joined. So what I'll do now is wrap that one with some electrical tape, and I will join my positive to the green one slightly further down and see how we go. Okay, so I've pushed all the wiring back up, back here and out through where the clock would go. I'll plug the clock back in. This plug only goes in one way. Put the clock back in position, put that back in, and again we'll turn the ignition on, and what should happen is this light goes mad here because it's not connected to the water level sensor yet in the bonnet. Oh. You're not going to miss that if it goes off while you're driving. Alright, well, let's put the water level sensor in and see what happens. So let me give you a quick rundown on how this thing works. We've currently got the ignition on, and the way this is positioned, it's assuming it's inside the header tank and there's enough water. With this float in the up position, there's a magnetic reed switch in here which makes contact. When the float comes down, it loses contact, makes the water level alarm lose the signal from the float, and the buzzer and the LED go off. So that's how it works. So let's say there's enough water in the system, we'll leave it there. But let's say there's a wiring problem between the engine bay and inside the car. Well, you can test that. If you press this button, the alarm should go off. And that's your test alarm. This breaks contact to the sensor in the engine bay and makes it act like you've run out of water. It's a fail-safe. So if the system plays up, you can tell. Just a quick side note while I remember, a friend of mine had a similar system in his car without a switch to turn the speaker off. It was all on or all off. He inadvertently flicked his switch, turning the water level sensor off, ran out of water and blew the motor. He thought the sensor was faulty because it should have given him a warning. Turns out he simply had the power switch turned off, and that's why I want this to still be able to have power and give me a warning, but isolate the audio so the whole thing still has power. So let's talk quickly about why you might want a water level sensor in your 300 TDI. They're quite a good motor, quite reliable. Certainly not powerful, but they'll last you a while. The easiest way to blow them is to run out of water. And I've had two very close calls, and so far I've been incredibly lucky. And the reason they're so easy to blow is the header tank's quite high, and up the top there is the thermostat. if you blow any of your hoses and your water level drops rapidly, the thermostat runs dry. Now the thermostat running dry won't show a temperature increase inside the cab. In fact, it might show a temperature decrease. So while you're losing water, boiling your motor, the temperature gauge inside may even start to drop, making you think everything's okay, until smoke comes out and the motor's dead. So the whole idea is, water level sensor, you blow a hose somewhere on the car, water level drops, alarm goes off, turn off the car, and hopefully you'll save it. Well, that's my little video about my stupid Land Rover and installing the water level sensor. I'll post a link to the eBay seller where I bought the sensor from. I had a slight issue with shipping. The original sensor, the float got damaged in transit, and the eBay seller was more than happy to replace it. So yeah, go and buy one. Save you 300 TDI from boiling.